We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Show is brought to you by the Wings and Gumbo and Stella Artois at Martin's in Livingston. That's a good place to watch the games, game day, Saturday and Sunday, Martin's in Livingston. We'll go Wings, we'll go Gumbo, and Stella Artois. Ice cold Stella. We had one of those at Aplos yesterday. That was good. Had a good show there. That was a ton of fun. Yeah, that worked out. Steve Palazzolo joins us. His show, Check the Mic, NFL, college football. He's had the NFL Podcast of the Year. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. How you doing, my man?
Doing great. Thanks for having me, as always.
Yeah, we appreciate you. So do y'all don't have boiled peanuts up there, do you, in the Midwest?
No, we do not. Not that I know of, at least.
Okay, I didn't think so. I thought that was kind of a cutoff, maybe around Tennessee. And for our listeners, Steve Palazzolo's in Cincinnati, Ohio. Or I think, are you in Cincinnati, Ohio right now?
Yeah, via Boston. So, like, Cincinnati's like the South for me, even though it's the Midwest, you know? Because I'm right on the border with Kentucky. I basically moved to the South, you know, relative to Boston.
That's pretty good. Okay. Do you want to hit any college football, or do you just want to go? I can go with, or we can go straight in NFL.
I can touch on some.
Okay.
Depends on what you got.
Well, I was thinking about like who the best quarterback's going to be in the SEC this year. Do you know much about John Mateer? Because he transferred from Washington State to Oklahoma. And I know it's early. We're still trying to figure everything out. We want all the answers. You know the drill. You're in the business. And we, things just have to kind of work themselves out. But we were talking about Mateer and Lenore Sellers and some of the other guys. Well, Garrett Nussmeier, he played well against Clemson. So when you look at our SEC QBs, like who are you high on right now in 2025?
Yeah, it's a great question. I saw Lenore Sellers in person a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's right.
So I was down there. Yeah. I mean, he's special as a runner, and I know I hate leading with that because there's still a lot more that Sellers needs to do as just a thrower. Timing in the passing game, accuracy. He has hit a couple really nice downfield throws even early this year, but Sellers is special as a runner. He is unbelievable with his quickness, power, speed. He broke free from a couple sacks when I was there in person, which were just unbelievable. So I think Sellers has that. So you hope that the pass game comes together for him. I really like Garrett Nussmeier. There's still a few plays here and there every game where I think you want him to clean it up, but he plays differently. The anticipation that he has, I think he's very accurate. I think he maneuvers the pocket extremely well, so he avoids sacks, but in a different way, just by getting rid of the ball and knowing where to go with the football. And then I think John Mateer got a lot of hype coming into the year because I think people put two and two together and saw a guy that he runs well, has a really good arm. He's got that low arm slot, sidearm release, and then this whole Cam Ward type of path, coming from Washington State and trying to elevate a big time program like Oklahoma. So I think Mateer, he reminds me. In my notes, I wrote that it's like what if you asked your slot receiver to play quarterback? Because he's just like shifty and lowers his head and picks up extra yards on the ground, but he also can zip it all over the place. So I'm interested in Mateer's development. I think he's got to clean up just some traditional quarterback things, going through reads, accuracy on the backside, different things like that. But yeah, there's a lot of potential from Mateer, and I think NFL scouts are absolutely noticing his strong start for the Sooners.
Okay. So we got some good ones in the league and some others will emerge as the season goes on. Steve Palazzolo on the Out of Bounds Show. Did you happen to be up somewhat late Saturday night and see what Mississippi State did to Arizona State?
I saw the final. I mean, I had the quad box going. I didn't know if you knew this, but I interviewed for Michigan State's general manager job this offseason. So I was almost a front office executive in college this year. But
wow.
I was watching the little Michigan. Yeah. So, and I do some consulting at the college side for the portal. So I was watching Michigan State, BC. I was watching the Virginia Tech Vandy game, and I had Mississippi State, Arizona State on the quad box. It was impressive, man. I think they've added a ton, this offseason in the portal, and it doesn't always – it's difficult to get it to all mesh early on when you just add a bunch of talent. But I think Mississippi State's looked much better. And I think Arizona State was probably slightly overrated just because they won a ton of close games last year.
Yeah.
And it was great, great college football game and great finish.
I mean, what a way to win it. The goal line stand, and then you throw to Brennan Thompson. They got a little speedster, Steve, transferred in from Oklahoma. And the dude was running wide open, and Blake Shapen hits him. I was there, and, nothing really good has happened to the program since Mike Leach died. And so they needed that, that juice, if you will. So I didn't know if you had it on. I'm glad you had it on one of your screens. All right. Let's go to Cowboys and Giants. Week 2, it's almost a must win because you're starting the season with back-to-back division games. You had a chance to win last week. You didn't this week. You're hosting the Giants. Do you see Dallas bouncing back in this one?
I do. I mean, I think I was pretty impressed with how well they played against the Eagles the other night. You're a couple drops away from maybe even pulling the upset. I thought they ran the ball a little bit better than I had thought. Dak played a really nice game. The defense, I thought, struggled early for Dallas, but then got a little bit better down the stretch and at least kept them in it, gave them a chance to come back and make that way to get the win. Gave them an opportunity for the comeback, I should say. So, the Giants looked pretty bad against the Commanders last week. I thought the Giants, and I'm not writing them off completely, but I thought their defensive line would have a little bit more of an impact, just like we saw last night. I mean, the Packers' defensive line with a guy named Micah Parsons over there, I mean, just unbelievable the way he's been able to elevate that entire defense and get that entire defensive line playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage. So I thought the Giants, they might have that ability. As Abdul Carter gets comfortable with Kayvon Thibodeau, with Brian Burns, with Dexter Lawrence. So that would be the scare. Every week when you play the Giants, I think that defensive line has the ability to take over and really make an impact. But the Giants' offense last week was weak. It looked like the same offense Daniel Jones was running. Couldn't really push the ball down the field, couldn't pass protect, couldn't run the ball. The offensive line has the same issues that it's had for a while. And like I said, with Dallas, I don't think they're going to be awful. I think they're pretty good on both sides of the ball. There will be some games where they're wishing they had another pass rusher, and there might be a game where they wish they invested better at running back, and they can't. They want to run the ball a little bit better, but I think Dallas should be able to take care of business against the Giants.
Okay, who is now that Micah Parsons was traded to the Green Bay Packers? Are the Packers your favorite in the NFC? The Lions have taken a step back. I'll be interested to see where you go here. Eagles, Packers. Who is your favorite right now in the NFC?
I mean, I pride myself on not overreacting to small sample sizes, but it's tough to not overreact to what the Packers have looked like. They were already a playoff team, and I mean they're playing like a Super Bowl caliber team. So the thing I always like to remind people of the places that we did overreact. So what was happening after 2 weeks last year? The Saints looked like the best team in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
No exaggeration, right? That was true. But for real, the Packers look legit because Jordan Love's healthy. They're spreading the ball around to their variety of playmakers. Love's making a ton of good throws. Offensive line looks solid, and they dealt with 2 injuries. They had 2 guys out last night, and they still did a really nice job up front. And the defense looks unreal. They are playing fast. They are playing physical. Parsons is a problem, and they're moving him all over the formation. So he's causing problems. Like he was rushing against centers, guards, tackles, didn't matter. So, yeah, I think the Packers are right there. Through 2 weeks, I'd say, hey, they're up there at or near the top of the NFC. I'm waiting to see what happens with the Lions and, them bouncing back. But yeah, very impressed with what Green Bay has done for the first 2 weeks here.
All right, for our listeners, the Lions lost both coordinators to head coaching positions. Dan Campbell's done an amazing job, but we'll see, like Steve said, if they can kind of work it out in the next couple of weeks. Would you be surprised if the Chiefs start 0-2? They host the Eagles Sunday.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the Eagles are favored, and as we broke this game down on our podcast, there was a lot of positives in favor of the Eagles, and we end up leaning on the last game that we saw, which of course was the Super Bowl beatdown by the Eagles and Chiefs. That football doesn't really work like that, but the Eagles are strong in all the right places, and the Chiefs, I think their offense had about 3 quarters before they really got going the other day against the Chargers in Week 1, and the defense didn't look as good for Kansas City. So I just think Philadelphia, they have an opportunity to put the Chiefs in this 0-2 hole. I know it's in Kansas City, but the Eagles look very good, both lines of scrimmage. Again, Jalen Hurts playing really good, efficient football. A.J. Brown's going to have more than one catch this week, I expect, going up against the more man-heavy scheme from Kansas City. And the Eagles can just win in multiple ways. So, yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance the Chiefs do start 0-2 here.
How many weeks does it take you before you're like, this is what this team is? Because you mentioned, we like to have all the answers after the first week or second week. How do you look at it? You were with Pro Football Focus forever. Now y'all are doing your own thing, but you've worked with NFL teams, college teams. How many weeks does it take you before you're like, all right, this team is X?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably 5 or 6 weeks, but even then, the Rams started 1-4 last year. 2 years ago, the Broncos, remember they gave up the 70 points to the Dolphins, and they looked like the worst defense of all time through 6 weeks. And then by week 7, they turned it around, and you look back and you said, oh, wow, Denver looked good. So I think every team has this different story about their season. Like I think the Bears have a chance as Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson get comfortable with each other in the new system. If the Bears finish strong in the final 8 or 9 games, I wouldn't be surprised. If it took them a little bit of time. And so it's a few weeks to really understand what a team is. But honestly, that story doesn't end. There's the Packers 2 years ago. They didn't turn it on until Thanksgiving.
True.
And then from Thanksgiving through the divisional round, they were one of the better teams in the NFL and made it to the final 8. They looked nothing like that in the first half of the season. So I think it's always fluid. And, there's a little bit of what did we think coming in? What have we seen so far? But my nature is to just not overreact, kind of let things play out and just describe what we've seen. And so, for the Packers so far, for instance, they've looked like a Super Bowl caliber team. Let's see if they can keep it up throughout the whole season.
All right, Steve Palazzolo just said it. He's got the Packers in the Super Bowl. You're listening to ESPN 105.9 The Zone. And he's got John Mateer as the number 1 pick in the NFL draft next April. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Hey, last week, 41-40, Bills-Ravens, 22 points in the fourth quarter. Had to be, it's one of the wildest games you've ever watched, right?
Oh, absolutely. It was incredible. I don't have great answers for it. I don't understand it.
That's good. That's what's good, awesome about sports.
Good analysis. The Ravens, so I know they have all these stats out there about how many leads the Ravens have lost and the number of times they've been up 10 points in the fourth quarter and lost them. And part of that is they're up 10 points in the fourth quarter more than anyone else. But they also blow those leads more than other good teams like the Chiefs, the Bills, the Eagles. And so it's the part that doesn't make sense is the Ravens should honestly be one of the best teams in history with a lead because of their run game, because of having Lamar Jackson. And look, Derrick Henry elevates that run game, of course.
No doubt.
But even without Lamar Jackson, they've always had a guy averaging 5.5 yards per carry, sometimes 6. And so you have Derrick Henry back there. You have Lamar Jackson. They were averaging 10 yards per play. Lamar was averaging 11 yards per pass, 11 yards per run, and Derrick Henry was at 11 yards per run. And then they go 3 and out 3 straight times, including a fumble. Well, one of them was 2 and out because it was a fumble. And so there's no great explanation for why can't the Ravens, who are unstoppable for 90% of the game, why can't they finish things off? And if they do something like that in the playoffs against Kansas City or Buffalo or whoever, could you imagine? They've already dealt with their own level of heartbreak in the playoffs with Lamar. And could you imagine if they did that in the playoffs? But credit the Bills. they went in there, made the plays, forced a fumble from Derrick Henry, and Josh Allen, he's special, of course, and his aggressiveness getting the ball down the field. And it was just a wild game. It was one of those, I almost wish it wasn't in week 1 of the NFL season. I kind of wish it was closer to the end or just in the playoffs, but it was a great way to kick off the season and a wild finish for the Bills.
Do you think the Saints will go 0-17?
No. I mean, they looked they were competitive last week. I don't know that they're going to get smoked every week, right? They're certainly lacking in talent in some key areas.
Okay.
Defensive line, I think that concerns me. O-line can be hit or miss, and just the general quarterback situation. I thought Spencer Rattler was fine last week, but do you trust him week in, week out? Maybe he will develop and become a pretty reasonable player, and that could change their fortunes. But a lot of people have the Saints as the worst team in the league, but that doesn't mean that they're getting smoked every week, and they're clearly going 0-17. So yeah, they'll win some games.
Do you have them winning this weekend over the 49ers?
I think I picked them as the underdogs, at least, with getting
3.5 points.
Yeah, 3.5 now. Yeah, because I mean the Niners are so injured, and you have Mac Jones coming in. Mac Jones hasn't looked good since his rookie season, pretty much. Maybe Kyle Shanahan unlocks something there in Mac, but there's nobody to throw to. They're probably relying on Christian McCaffrey, who's already injury prone, and he's the most healthy guy on the Niners. Left tackle Trent Williams is banged up, including all the pass catchers that they have. And I think the Niners defense, they played well last week against Seattle, but I had some questions about them coming into the year and their defensive line turnover. They got much younger up front outside of Nick Bosa. So, the Saints do have a chance to pull the upset this weekend.
Okay. Steve Palazzolo, he had the NFL Podcast of the Year. He joins us on the Out of Bounds show. Brought to you by the Wolf and Shepherd Shoes at the Rogue Men's Store. The Los Angeles Rams coaching staff, Houston Texans coaching staff, Matt Leinart and Rob Gronkowski all wearing Wolf and Shepherd shoes this football season. You can find them at the Rogue Men's Store in Jackson. Steve Palazzolo on the Out of Bounds show. Speaking of overrated Alabama quarterbacks, you just mentioned one in Mac Jones. Almost all of them, if not all of them, are overrated going from college to the NFL. Where are you right now with Tua Tagovailoa? And, what is he? Is he average, pretty good, good? Where's this going? Frame it up for me, Steve P.
I mean, if you asked me a week ago, I'd say he's an above-average quarterback who is lacking when he's trying to go up against the above-average quarterbacks, against the best in the league. And then last week was that was the worst performance I've seen from Tua since probably his rookie season. And the whole offense was terrible. They looked unprepared. They weren't handling pressures. They didn't know where the pressure was coming from. When Tua had open throws, he was missing them. He was overthrowing in the middle of the field. He finally made a couple nice throws down the stretch against, when they were down 20 or whatever it was. So I don't know, man, mid-tier type of quarterback for Tua, but I would still put him in the top half of the league because there are things he does well. The quick release, seeing it quickly, getting rid of the ball, protecting the offensive line. But we also haven't seen him do that without Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And so those are always the confounding factors, right? We've seen Patrick Mahomes' deep ball pretty much disappear. It was pretty good the year after Tyreek Hill left, but then the last 2 years disappeared because you don't have a legitimate deep threat, and that opens up so much. And that, Tua's had, one of the best receivers of his generation with Tyreek Hill. And as he gets older and regresses and maybe gets traded, that's going to be the challenge, I think, for Tua, is to be the guy that elevates everybody else around him. But again, when you've seen backups go in, they haven't been as good as Tua, so it's not always that simple. But he struggled last week, man. I thought he had some ball security and accuracy issues against the Colts.
All right, it doesn't look like Mike McDaniel's going to make it down in Miami. Head coach, he was under Shanahan for a while. He was hot for a second, and then I don't know if this thing's going to work out. Caleb Williams, quarterback in Chicago. Where are you with Caleb?
Yeah, still a little wait and see. There was definitely some special on Monday night. You see his speed and his ability to throw on the run and the velocity and all the tools that people love. It's just a matter of simple footwork, hitting the easy throws. I mean, Drake May had some of this for New England, just missing open, easy throws, and seeing things within the scheme for Ben Johnson. There were open throws that you need to hit. And so I think there's potential to be there. I don't think Williams, I don't think Caleb's as inaccurate as he looked on Monday night at times. So I think he'll get there at some point. But everybody's development curve is a little bit different, and I think Williams just has to figure out that combination of I can make special plays, but I have to hit, the layups. I have to hit the easy stuff, and that's where I think Caleb Williams is lacking right now.
All right, Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals. Is he just pretty good? What do you have for me?
I think he's the top half of the league quarterback. I'll be interested to see. I thought him and Marvin Harrison Jr. had a really nice connection Sunday against the Saints. I would love to see them have another speed element on that offense. But I think Kyler struggles in the middle of the field. He does it, you're missing pieces of the offense, but he's a special runner that, can undo things when there's a pass rush that they can use in the design game. He's a top half of the league guy. I don't know if I'd put him in the top 8. At one point, it looks like Kyler would be a top 8 type of quarterback, but I think he's somewhere between 9 and 14. And that's a guy that you can win with and just has to, be a little bit more consistent week in, week out. Because Kyler's high-end games are special. He just he has some mediocre games in there, too. Just got to figure out that consistency piece.
I've only got a minute or so. Would you take, right now today, Baker Mayfield or Kyler Murray?
Probably Baker, the way he's trending. And he just got away with some stuff last week. He threw 4 passes right to the Falcons. They dropped all of them. I just think Baker's his high end is great.
Okay.
And he has a chance. He's that guy that can kind of get pissed off and take over a game. So I kind of like where Baker Mayfield's trending, and he's done it with multiple offensive coordinators now for the last few years. Okay.
Interesting. What else do we want to do here? On the way out, we've got a few. we got the double header on Monday. Yeah. All right. Who would you take? No, you take Herbert. Okay. Yeah. You have do you have Herbert in your top 5, 6, 7? Where would he land, Steve P?
I think there's a big debate for who QB5 is. Could be Jaden Daniels, could be Justin Herbert, C.J. Stroud, Matthew Stafford. The executives love Stafford. I think Herbert has a chance to be that guy. He looked awesome week 1. He's healthy. So I'd keep an eye on Herbert this year.
He's got a hell of a coach now. Hey, Steve P., have a great weekend. I hope you crush the Skyline chili. And I hope the kiddos are doing good, my man.
All right. Sounds good. Appreciate it. Enjoy the football.
See you, dude. Steve Palazzolo, Check the Mic, his show, had the NFL Podcast of the Year. He joined us on the Out of Bounds show and the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. Bundle your auto and home and save with your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent in any of the 82 counties in the great state of Mississippi. We would love for you to go to YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel. Search Out of Bounds Sports. YouTube, search Out of Bounds Sports. Would love for you to hit the subscribe button. And the show is brought to you by the Dirty Bird Wrap at B3, Burgers, Blues, Barbecue, Madison, Dogwood, Flowwood, Brandon.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
It's now morning.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9. All set? Let's go. The Zone.
Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. It's a Football Friday brought to you by the Men's Clinic in Madison and the Men's Clinic in Brandon, helping men through the aging process. Their website, themanthing.com. And we have Dr. Mike Manning. It's Dr. Mike Manning and Dr. Cliff Adams, Mississippi Vein Institute, and, of course, the Men's Clinic in Madison and the Men's Clinic in Brandon. And then they have the Madison Medical Compound Pharmacy also, which is just not even half a mile from where we are. And Mike Manning, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here.
All right, tell us. Let's say we've got some listeners that have never heard about y'all.
Yeah.
All right. So, what is the focus of the Men's Clinic in Madison and Brandon?
You know, when I first started it, we were primarily doing testosterone replacement, but it has morphed over the last, 5 or 6 years into just a general wellness clinic for guys. You know, my objective, I'm 62 now, and I'm trying to keep myself in as good a shape as I can. Sure. And so I'm trying to keep my men as healthy and as strong as I can for as long as I can, because we want to die young as late as possible.
Yeah, I like that.
That's the objective. And so, we have top-of-the-line supplements. We have things for erectile dysfunction, of course, testosterone replacement. We have body composition analysis machines. We have an excellent staff at our Madison location, which is our flagship location. And then we opened a second one in Brandon about 2 years ago and rented a space initially just to see if it was going to work in that location. And Michael Nelms is a nurse practitioner that runs that one for us, and it has just been a spectacular success to the degree that we're building our own clinic there now.
Nice.
And that clinic will be finished probably late December, 1st of January. Okay. But it's basically going to be, you've been to our clinic in Madison.
Oh, yeah.
It's basically going to be a replica of that one.
So it's got a real cool man cave type feel. I like what y'all did.
Well, and that's the deal. I tried to make the vibe of it comfortable for guys.
Sure.
Because guys don't like going to the doctor. How about this? I don't like going to the doctor. None of us do. So, I put, heart pine floors in it, wood walls, fireplace, barber chairs in the rooms, and try to hire staff that is, just regular guys, man. So it's comfortable to come there.
Yeah. All right. So the new building in Brandon will be ready.
Yeah, I'm saying the end of December, 1st of January.
That's
My
awesome.
son runs Manning & Manning Construction, and he's building it, so I'm holding him to it. But he said we'd be in by the middle of January, so maybe so.
John Manning, we're holding you to it.
That's right.
All right, Dr. Mike Manning on the Out of Bounds Show. He and Dr. Cliff Adams, the Men's Clinic in Madison, the Men's Clinic in Brandon. Their new building will be open December or January. You can go to their website, themanthing.com. When did you start the men's clinic?
It's probably been about 15 years ago. I started Mississippi Vein first, and that's been really almost 20 years ago now, if you can believe it. And then started the men's clinic, and I started it in my existing building, in Mississippi Vein building upstairs, and it just grew to the extent that, I imagine it's almost 2,000 men in that clinic now. So I built another building for that clinic, and we put our own compounding pharmacy in that clinic as well, Madison Medical Compounding, that's run by Matt
They do a
Chambers.
great job.
Oh, well, Matt's just world class. He's compounding pharmacist, and he makes all our lotions and potions and medicines, and he's just a wizard with what he does. So it's just a real good combination.
Yeah, Matt's a super guy. Y'all got a good thing going there, too. So you were an anesthesiologist.
Yes.
And then at, 40 years old or something?
45,
you decide, physicians don't do this. You decide to go to Birmingham and specialize under the number one guy in the vein.
He was certainly one of the number one guys, John Kingsley, and it's hard to believe it, but John's been dead now for 10 years, but he trained a lot of physicians, but it was just something about me and John. I don't know. I was invited to give his tribute at our National Society meeting in Phoenix right after he died. the president called me and said, man, I know he'd want you to do it. Big honor for me.
Sure.
And, to this day, literally, I have people that come to Mississippi Vein from all over the country. They'll fly in here. I own the Hilton Hotel in Madison. We'll put them up in the hotel and fix their leg veins, and they fly out. They're wanting John Kingsley to do it. But, of course, John's gone. The closest they can get to John's me. But, yeah, you're right. When I made the change when I was 45, I was president of my group at St. Dominic's. I'd been president of the state anesthesia society, and everybody in this town, with the exception of my wife, thought I was crazy. Yeah. I was good at anesthesia. I was trained at Wake Forest. That was the top program in the country at the time, and I was good at it. But I just didn't like it, Bo.
Right.
And, man, I got to tell you.
You wanted a new challenge.
Well, what I got to do now, I love what I do now.
There you go.
People are asking me all the time, I'm 62, when you going to retire? I don't know that I ever will, really. As long as the Lord says the same. Yeah. I like what I do. It's not killing me to do it. We work 4 days a week.
Yeah.
Why not?
And you got a great team at Mississippi Vein, too.
Well, and let me tell you, that's the ticket right there. I don't care. It's not about me. It's about my team. I get the accolades, and I'm the tip of the spear and all that stuff, but I know where the magic is, and the magic is in my team across the board. Both in the pharmacy at Mississippi Vein and in the men's clinic.
Yeah. You've had people with you for a long time.
So I've had some of my people been with me from day one. Wow. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Dr. Mike Manning on the Out of Bounds Show. So you got the men's clinic in Madison and the men's clinic in Brandon, and they have their new building that will be ready in December or January. And we'll have to bring you back in. And,
we're going to have a grand opening. I'd like to have you out there for that. You need to come out because the clinic is really, really going to be first rate.
I can't wait to see it.
No, it's going to be something, and just us having the first one makes the second one that much better because you know how to make it a little better, right?
Right.
The physical facility,
sure.
But the layout of the clinic, everything about it's just first rate.
So when you first go and going through the process.
Yes.
How does it work, Mike?
Guys call and they get an appointment and they come in and they get lab drawn, and it's a pretty extensive lab panel. The price for that is, I think it's around $180, maybe $200, something like that. And you come in and get your blood drawn, and it takes, 4 or 5 days for all that to come back. And at that point, you'll see either me or my partner, Dr. Adams.
Right.
We'll sit you down and spend, 15, 20, 30 minutes with you going through your lab work, looking at everything. Because this is not just about testosterone, y'all. This is about improving your health and not just normal values. We're trying to get optimal values.
Right.
There's a difference in something being normal and something being optimal, whether you're talking about, your kidney function, your liver function, or whether you're talking about testosterone. So we're trying to optimize our guys, get them in the best position to attack life.
Yeah. TheManThing.com, the men's clinic in Madison and the men's clinic in Brandon, and they'll have a brand new building opening in December or January. College football's here. Exciting times.
Oh, I love it. And I'm a Mississippi State fan. Manning from Drew, that's kind of hard to believe, but I'm kind of the black sheep of the family, I guess. Yeah. But I'm kind of pulling for Texas this year too, watching Arch, play. So I'm pulling for them. I think they actually play state at state this year.
In a few weeks.
So, yeah.
It's going to be huge.
I'll be at that game so I can see how Arch is doing.
And then his son is Jake Manning, too. I mentioned John. Jake, Mississippi Smart Homes, mssmarthomes.com. They did my house and my man cave, which is unbelievable. When you get the Sonos surround sound system, whether it's games like football, movies, or you're just listening to Spotify, it's awesome.
It is, and he's smarted my whole house up. He brings people out there and shows them around so they can see. You can turn on all the lights with your voice, do all the outside lights. Yeah. It's just once you get it, you kind of get addicted to it. It really simplifies your life. It's easy to say, hey, turn the pool lights on too.
Boom.
Instead of boom, they're on. I love it.
mssmarthomes.com, and they've got a new showroom right behind Kralaka's in Madison. And it is really, really nice. Mike Manning, thank you. We'll have you on again around Christmas as you guys get the new building open for the men's clinic in Brandon and the men's clinic right around the corner here in Madison, themanthing.com. Dr. Mike Manning and Dr. Cliff Adams. Appreciate Dr. Mike Manning with the men's clinic in Madison and men's clinic in Brandon. Jumping on the show with us. Don't forget that mssmarthomes.com can make your game day even better with the Sonos surround sound system. And you can make your home smart. mssmarthomes.com. We have the Sonos surround sound system powered by mssmarthomes.com. Call Jake Manning today. mssmarthomes.com. And his office is right behind Kralaka's in Ridgeland and Went McGee, the mortgage man, his office. So it's just boom. And they've got a new showroom floor there at mssmarthomes.com. It makes games, movies, and Spotify even better in your home. We were talking about boiled peanuts. Evidently, somebody was making fun of the way I say it. I mean, if Haley Barber can say casina, then I can say bold. But boiled peanuts. Anyway, we were talking about boiled peanuts earlier, and we got a text. The place in Destin with great boiled peanuts is called the Boathouse. Yeah. So I remember going to the Boathouse in the 90s. I don't know why that became the place when you were a college student at that time. I have not been back since. So, you know, it's probably been since 1995. It was like a Dutch bar on a boat, or was it? I don't even remember. I can't remember if it was in the marina or what, but yeah, dive bar. And I think they fit 200 people in an area about the size of this studio. I mean, that was back when you were okay with being shoulder to shoulder with people. Now, I don't even want to get in an elevator with anyone. It's just, good Lord. And you know those people that like the elevator will stop. So, I mean, I travel a pretty good bit. And the elevator, especially when you're like let's say you're in Dallas. I'm just thinking of like you're on the 14th floor of the Westin or something, right? And you're going down and people are coming on, and finally, you've got more than enough people, and you got that part. You stop on floor 4 and everybody's already sandwiched. Oh, we can make room. No, we can't.
No.
We can't make room.
Wrong.
Get the next elevator.
Right. Simple. Don't.
I don't even want to ride with one person other than like Wendy. In an elevator.
The kids can take the stairs.
Now, look, if you give me a shot of 4 floors or under, I'll just take the stairs. In a heartbeat. Do it all the time.
Yeah. I'll go 3.
Okay.
I ain't got the last floor in me.
Well, you kind of got that lazy man syndrome.
Well, I mean, also 3. Flights of stairs are easy. Long legs. I do 4.
You're so gangly, though.
I do 4.
I don't. You don't ever know where the leg is going.
Don't need to. I know where it's going to end up.
You were the kid that was bigger than everybody and really good the first 13 years of your life.
No doubt.
You were able to dominate, and then it leveled out on you.
I wouldn't say it leveled out on me.
Okay.
But my jumper got better.
I don't think it did.
Oh, I know it did.
Did anybody play basketball with Jackson Meadows? And I don't believe that his jumper was any good.
Oh, yeah, my coach is listening.
Oh.
Yeah, my former coach is listening all the time.
At Mount Salus?
Nah, Clinton.
Oh.
6A ball. He'll tell you now.
7A now.
7A,
6A
sorry,
when you were there.
7A, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll tell you.
Okay.
He's reluctant, but he'll tell you. I can play ball. Yeah, that's stamped, man. Look at the Clarion Ledger.
I know you couldn't. I know you didn't have any ball handling skills because you weren't going to work on that.
No, I wasn't.
I mean,
I wasn't.
So you could probably go two good bounces and then you had to pull up. Is the way I see it.
Well, I mean, yeah.
And no
Clinton,
way
yeah.
you were good with your left hand.
I don't know. I could lay up on my left hand. That's about it.
Okay.
That's all I needed though.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the
A
gold.
hook.
What now?
A little hook.
Oh, do you have a baby hook shot?
Because they had me in the post in the beginning.
Well, because you were taller than everybody.
Right. So I got learned.
I mean, how tall were you by 6th grade?
Oh,
You were taller than everybody.
5'10",
you said a
5'11",
couple months ago.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Way
So
taller.
you were, if you're there at that age, you're in the post.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I learned to,
And then you eventually worked your way out to guard
That's
because
right.
you were 6'4".
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, shoot. Yeah. They trained me down on the post, man. Had to get that drop step in.
It's all about the drop
So
step.
I love it. I love the post.
Patrick
That's-
Ewing drop step. On the Golden Moon Casino text line, Mac is listening in Inlet Beach, and we were talking about the boathouse. He says it's in between. No, it's in the marina between Harbor Docks and AJ's. Okay, cool.
Oh,
I'd forgotten. I've been to Harbor Docks and AJ's several times in the last few years. I have not, but I did. I wasn't thinking about the boathouse. This was during the. Well, I've been to AJ's at night, but Harbor Docks during the day. I don't know why I always have to do that, but when I'm driving in Destin, I go to Harbor Docks, go to the back porch of Harbor Docks, not the back porch in Destin, Harbor Docks, and get a cold beer and get something, like an appetizer or something.
that place. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there. Yeah. Okay.
So we hit it like 93, 94, 95.
Yeah.
We went.
Yeah. I mean, that was is rite of passage place almost.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you have to
Yeah.
at least swing by there.
And then AJ's
definitely up there.
and now they've got, that's kind of the nightlife thing. AJ's in Destin proper, and AJ's now on 38.
Yeah.
I did a show from AJ's.
Great.
And great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we did a y'all lifestyle deal. I can't believe how much merch we sold that day. So I don't know how this happened. There was a manager there from Mississippi.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And somehow this was several, and we got tied in. And Wendy and I went down there. We laid out all the merch and did well. It was great.
There's a strong Mississippi connection there.
I don't remember what it was. I don't know. But hey, we had a great time. I remember Wendy and I went down there on a football weekend. So I assume MSU wasn't at home, and it was one of those great times of year. It was like October.
Yeah, I feel like I remember that.
And yeah, it was fun. It was fun. AJ's, that's the bachelorette party
Oh my gosh.
spot of all bachelorette parties in that area. I mean, it's the one in Destin, I'm sure does well in that spot, but the one on 30A, it's like you
Yeah,
were your
buddy.
age people.
Crushed. I mean,
If you went in there for a weekend like this weekend, they'll have a bunch of them there.
crushing it. Yeah.
We've got our guys trip in a couple of weeks down there. And we went in last year, the year before, and there were bachelorette parties everywhere.
I mean, it's before it was AJ's, it was Pandora's.
Oh,
Called it Pandy's, Club Pandy's.
where AJ's is now?
Correct, Grayton.
Barago is the Italian spot in front,
Right.
and it's connected to Lululemon.
It's correct.
So if you want to see really attractive people on like June 10th
Mm-hmm.
or June 5th, really anytime, but like in peak, which I kind of stay away from now, but I get it if you do, that's where you go.
Saw my lawyer down there one time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, randomly.
Divorce lawyer?
Nah.
Oh, gotcha.
Joe. My guy.
No, I haven't. Somebody asked me, do I eat at AJ? I do not. There's too many others. I don't think of food when I think of AJ's. I think of
Now.
younger people like Jackson's age taking fireball shots, which I don't do.
It was a steakhouse.
It was a steakhouse?
Pandora's was a steakhouse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It had like the steakhouse and then it divided off into a bar. It was.
It sounds like they didn't really know what they were.
Had no idea what was going on.
Yeah. Now they do. They're minting money. Both AJs. I don't know who owns them. I wonder what they do in revenue a year. 15 million? More? 20 million? God, we're live in the Bank Plus studio. Fat Jack Ross, handicapper to the stars, coming up next. All right, last segment of the week. All right, and it's a Football Friday. It's brought to you by the Golden Moon Casino, Sportsbook and Lounge, an award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, all on the property of Pearl River Resort. Don't forget Philip M. Steakhouse, recognized by Wine Spectator. Book your 24 to 48 hours of fun, pearlriverresort.com. It doesn't get any better. All right, you get 3 or 4 guys, you walk into the Golden Moon Casino, you go into the sports book, full bar, food menu, get your chairs and all that, start to get your bets in, and you know it's going to be a good day. You know, grab an ice cold beer or Tito's Vodka Bloody Mary, and then you've got nachos and quesadillas coming. You got table games 20 yards from you. It's all good. And then you wrap it up that night with the bone-in ribeye from Philip M's on the property of Pearl River Resort. We welcome in Fat Jack Ross and his site, fatjacksports.com. He joins us on 105.9 The Zone ESPN. Fat Jack, I think this lineup tomorrow, college football, especially in the SEC, is on fire. What do you think?
Yeah, you know what helps with that day in the sports book is a 6-0 Saturday.
That's
which
right.
is what we had last week.
Ooh.
I mean, that you can't screw that up.
No.
I mean, that's one of those. We obviously don't do that every week, but and I was looking for something to sweat on Saturday afternoon. They were so easy after the early kick. We had a couple early kicks that were toss-ups and won both of those. But after that, we had Oregon minus 28.5. They won 69-3. We had under in the West Virginia Ohio game. They were 61 was the total. They scored 27 points. Under in the Oklahoma Michigan game. 37 points in that, one of the easier plays. And then Nebraska, minus 34, they won 69-0. So if you're going to go bet on what an easy Saturday it was last week. Gave a little back on Sunday, but ready for this week. I made over 4 games of profit last week overall. That is where if you get 4 games a week, you're going to make over $5K this year at $100 a game. And so after paying the service fee, if I told you you're going to make $3,500 betting on football this year, most $100 players would take that. If not, then they have unrealistic expectations. So ready for another big week. And you're right. The SEC, up and down the board, I have 8 plays that have already gone out for Saturday. And so I think it's a deep card. Some of them, and I normally don't have that. 6 is a lot for me for the amount of money I bet. But we've got 8 going tomorrow so far, maybe more. And you're right. You start in the SEC both from a watchability standpoint and from intriguing angles. And Florida LSU probably jumps off the page, right?
Yes.
There's a bunch of them that do. But Florida LSU, what's Florida's? Is there a bounce back there? We gave away South Florida as a winner in week 1 against Boise. Not surprising. Matter of fact, you get season win totals. Everybody got South Florida over their season win total. So there's nothing been surprising about what they've done. But be careful, a little bit like the NFL in week 2. Be careful of overreacting to one game. Players don't behave like fans do. So if you're a Gators fan, you're still pissed, right? I mean, you're still upset about what happened. But that's not how college football players are. There's some value because what's this number if they actually take care of business last week? You're getting almost a touch or over a touchdown here. Florida 5-1 against the spread their last 6 games. This games normally go under when Florida's playing. They're 6-0 to the under their last 6. So fewer points. I'll take the underdog. Give me the Gators in that one.
Oh, I'll take the Gators too. I expect them to bounce back and play well. Arkansas at Ole Miss. Can Arkansas hang with the Rebs, Fat Jack?
Yeah, so there's a lot of sharp players that believe they're going to. This is one of the biggest line moves of the week. And it started at 10. The bigger line moves. Temple went from 28 to 22. It's a 6-point number. Missouri went from a 21-point favorite to 27. Ohio went down from a 33-point underdog to 29. And this one's right up there with that. Opens at 10. Ole Miss a favorite. By the way, the more you get to know Lane Kiffin, who doesn't like Lane Kiffin? I understand that he has got a bad rep early. I do. If there's a coach that I would like to hang out with a little bit, he's one of them. I love a guy that apologizes to the gamblers out there after he gives up one play to Kentucky. It really was one play. They're covering the entire time. One play later, Kentucky kicks a field goal, which was the right play to get it to a one-score game. But I appreciate a guy that basically comes and says, yeah, hey, that was a bad beat for the gamblers. So I didn't have any part of it, but I just started shaking my head laughing. So now they're down to 6.5-point favorite over Arkansas, and I think Arkansas can absolutely hang in this. We don't know a ton about Arkansas because of the early season schedule, but I do think that this is a pretty good matchup for them. They will try to keep the ball away from Ole Miss's offense. Ole Miss, again, another lower scoring team than you think. You look at Ole Miss, you think they score a ton of points all the time. That's not really been the case. This has been an under team, playing better defense, trying to win time of possession. So I think that kind of continues. Anytime you start leaning under, you got to look underdog first. So yeah, give me Arkansas plus the points.
All right, tell us what's going on the site this weekend, fatjacksports.com. What do we have going on?
Yeah, I mean, a ton of stuff. Actually, UFC going this weekend. Obviously, a huge NFL card. If you're in the NFL, you need to be thinking under. You need to be thinking underdogs again. Unders 12-4 last week. Teams that got blown out last week, they normally come back and they cover double-digit losses on in week one that go on the road in week two in the NFL. They cover 65% of the time, and that's a 20-year stat. So 65% of the time. So teams like Carolina, teams like the Giants, parity rules in the NFL. Do not go out and play the better team because you saw them win last week. That's a good way to go broke in the NFL. Follow the parity of the league first before you start making your plays. Or go to fatjacksports.com. $189 for football through Monday. $249 gets you the players props as well. Those make money 5 out of every 6 weeks. They were 3-3 last night. Got a little bit of a bad break with Austin Eckler going out with an injury. Otherwise, he goes over his total and go 4-2. They expect more value there. UFC big card going this weekend. Those are $20 a week when you sign up for a longer package. Soccer going this weekend. Eagles Premier League's back. I don't love soccer. I don't care about soccer, but my soccer guys are really, really good. Go to fatjacksports.com. Less than $80 a week when you sign up through the Super Bowl for football. Let's say it's $80 a week. You're going to eat steak anyway. $80 a week will get you a 6-0 last Saturday, 3 straight winning weeks, and a big weekend card when you sign up through the Super Bowl at fatjacksports.com.
All right, Georgia at Tennessee. Georgia on this book is laying 3.5. Who do you like and why?
Dude, I thought we were done. I thought you were trying to get me out. So
no,
I was trying to wrap it up. I apologize, brother. I thought we were done. So,
no.
No, Georgia. Yeah, here's the thing. This number also down. This number opens at 6, down to about 3.5. You do feel like Georgia could be a little vulnerable, right? If you look from the outside in, they're not getting good quarterback play. He's not hitting receivers down the field. Their offensive line that's banged up is not protecting that well. Tennessee's at home with a bunch of, moonshine drinking hillbillies that are hungry for this big win against either Georgia or Alabama. And they're getting good quarterback play out of the transfer from UCLA. So this probably is the spot. You worry about the value of their wins so far. Syracuse not looking near as good. They were lucky to get it done in overtime against UConn last week. But that's a play the underdog or don't play it. Georgia also 1-5 against the spread their last 6 games, not covering many games. Tennessee, the opposite of that, 4-1 against the number. So, yeah, lean toward the Vols there.
All right, one more. Do you have time for one more?
Sure. I'm here as long as you want.
Okay. Texas A&M at Notre Dame. Do you remember like 6 years ago, Fat Jack, when Georgia went into Notre Dame Stadium, bought up all the tickets and took their manhood? It was like 6 years ago in a game. I'm wondering if Notre Dame is going to sell their tickets again to another SEC school, but A&M at Notre Dame laying 6.5.
So this is another one of those you can make a good case either way. A&M, last thing that the Texas A&M fans have needed at this point is legalized sports gambling in the state of Texas, because they would be a bunch of broke or broker oilies down there in College Station. A&M 3-12 against the spread under their current head coach. That's the second worst last year. This is a team that has not been covering. They do not cover the number, which is really where we're trying to land in this. Flip the coin on that. Notre Dame 29-14-1 against the spread under Freeman. That's the best since 2022. So Notre Dame typically is going to get it done in this spot, but I understand exactly what you're saying. A&M is better. It feels like they're in a spot to where they could at least cover the number and go pull the upset. They're 0-7 their last 7 games against the number. It's 8-2 to the over. But Notre Dame doesn't have their quarterback's not playing great. We don't know exactly how good they are. They're coming off a bye. They're losing week 1. So I think this is definitely a let's figure out what they are. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if A&M went up there and played them close and or won the game. There's easier spots, I think, to make money. I'd say games like that, Miami of Florida, that's still sitting at 17.5 against South Florida, huge emotional win, 2 ranked opponents in a row against South Florida. They're good. I don't think they're that good. Also, that Oklahoma Temple game's another one you look at and you say, okay, this is a sandwich game for OU. In the SEC, they beat Michigan. They've got Auburn on deck. They do not cover on the road. They're 2-5 against the spread. Their last 7 on the road. Temple, on the other hand, they bring in the coach from Sam Houston. They're 6-1 against the spread. Their last 7 home games, and OU off of a cover. Even worse, they're 1-8 against the spread when they cover. They normally don't cover 2 in a row, and Brent Venables doesn't care about covering. So that's why that number's trended down. So I would take Temple in Philadelphia plus all those points against the Sooners.
Wow, Oklahoma's going on the road to play at Temple. Unbelievable. All right, one more I want to hit you with. Clemson at Georgia Tech. Haynes King.
Yeah, this is another one of those like that OU game that if you were going to bet it, you should have bet it early in the week.
Gotcha.
I mean, you're not getting the value now, right? I mean, this number's down 3.5. You could have got it at 6 when it opened. Clemson 1-6 against the number their last 7. So I don't love where they are. Obviously, don't love what happened to start the season for them, but the value's gone. And Georgia Tech is one of those teams. They're like, we talked about Kentucky last week, that they just figure out a way to muddy it up and stay close in games they really shouldn't be in. That's kind of what Georgia Tech is too. So a turnover or 2, Clemson probably covers easy if they take advantage of that, and their defense should be good at that. But the quarterback situation at Georgia Tech, he will give them some problems. He's a very mobile quarterback, runs a lot of misdirection. So I'll wait and see for me on what Clemson and, frankly, Georgia Tech are, especially with that number down around field goal.
Boom. All right, anything else before – well, let's drop the site. FatJackSports.com. Went 6-0 last Saturday. Fat Jack Ross joins us on ESPN 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by the Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook. Is there anything else you want to hit on the way out?
Yeah, just if you're good when you're going to play the NFL this week, make sure you're not playing the best team and calling it there. Underdogs do really well this week, and teams that looked really bad last week more times than not cover this week. The big one, Philly, Kansas City, Philadelphia. They beat Dallas. They did not beat Buffalo. I mean, this is not a great win for them to start the year. Dallas has traded away their best defensive player. I do think that Kansas City gets it done at home. They're 13-0 straight up. Their last 13 at home. Mahomes really good as a dog, 11-4 against the spread. And I think Taylor Swift may call off the wedding if the Chiefs start 0-2. So I think they got a lot of pressure on them. Let's go. I think they get it done at Arrowhead. Give me the Chiefs plus a point.
All right, FatJackSports.com. Fat Jack Ross, thank you, buddy. Have a good weekend.
All right, Bill. Have a good week. See you soon.
Brought to you by Wings and Stella Artois. That is a winning combo. Wings and Stella Artois right here on the Out of Bounds Show. ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Also, Madison Ridgeland Academy football on tonight. Mississippi State football on tomorrow. New Orleans Saints football on Sunday. So keep it on 105.9 The Zone, ESPN all weekend. Speaking of MRA, as far as on the K through 12 academic student side, not a lot of openings. A couple in the 10th, 11th, 12th grade that you may can find. How things have changed. They've got a wait list in like 10 of the 11 grades or 11 K through 12. But if you do have this is going to sound crazy, but this is where they are. If you have a newborn and you don't know where, you're going to go to school, but you're thinking about MRA, you're going to want to go ahead and take a tour, call and schedule a tour of the school and go ahead and get your deposit in, because they've already got, like, let's say somebody's 1 year old, right? So they're starting in 3 or 4 years in K4 or whatever it is. Like, they're already filling up. And so that's where they are. Obviously, they continue to invest millions of dollars on the campus and in academics. But go ahead and call and schedule a private tour of the school and, see what you think and and so on. Both my kids went there, and they've been on Friday Night Lights for probably 12 years now, but maybe longer, 12 or 13. And so Madison Ridgeland Academy on Old Canton Road, that's your academic and athletic piece. And they've got a good football team this year. Jay, I think, is the favorite, but I think MRA is going to be there in the end, and we'll see what prep. You don't ever count out Hartfield and prep, so we'll see how that thing looks as the season rolls on. But Madison Ridgeland Academy football on 105.9 The Zone ESPN, MRA on ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're live in the Bank Plus studio, and the show is also brought to you by Eye Care Professionals and Dr. Kirk Jeffries. So from a routine eye exam, because you need to be able to see the baseball or the tennis ball, or if your son's playing football at wide receiver or corner or linebacker, they need to pick up the football. So from routine eye exams at Eye Care Professionals to cataract surgery, Dr. Kirk Jeffries and Eye Care Professionals, 2 locations on Lakeland Drive. One right down from Smith Wills or the Northeast Jackson baseball fields, Eye Care Professionals, and then Flowood Belmead. Dr. Kirk Jeffries, Eye Care Professionals, routine eye exams, and cataract surgery and LASIK and so on. All right. What else do we need to do here? Tomorrow morning, game day. Where is game day? I don't even know. Are they in Tennessee? Yeah, let me know on that. Or let's have a listener tell us. The Golden Moon Casino text line, 601-885-3776. I have to get my Nick Saban fix tomorrow morning. Tennessee? Rocky Top, baby. That'll be wild. They'll be, look, that town tonight, Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah, buddy.
Tonight.
Hot.
Will be hot.
Hot.
They'll be running. They'll be on a heater, as you like to say.
I mean.
Then tomorrow morning, they'll have a great crowd for Saban, McAfee, Herb Street, and the crew.
Yeah. Great crowd.
And I don't know if it'll be Kenny Chesney or Peyton Manning or someone else to do the, I guess. I know Chesney's done it right before.
Yes, that's correct.
I don't know if Peyton's done it, but maybe he has. But I don't know, since retiring, how many times Tennessee's hosted game day.
They try to get Wallen. Question.
Morgan Wallen? Maybe. Yeah. So tomorrow they'll have a great crowd. Game day in Knoxville. And we'll see if the kid hits the field goal again. Last week he did. He got 200,000, which, I mean,
what?
Yeah. So the kid, and he look, he was pretty thick. I mean, he looked like he had played some high school football or JUCO football. I mean, he had a butt and legs on him.
Okay.
But he was in shape. Like he was, looked like he was still working out a little bit. And McAfee and Herb Street, they've had a bunch of winners.
Yes, they have. Okay, I remember.
And they were all hot and bothered, and then boom, the kid through the uprights. So they'll do that again tomorrow morning. And then Saban is going to drop just these nuggets for us that you're like, wow. But he can frame it up in a way that we can get it.
Right. He articulates very well.
Yeah, he doesn't go football nerd coach too much. He's like, hey, here's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Like when they're whatever game. I mean, they're going to talk about Arkansas at Ole Miss because that's a big game. Being in Neyland and not in Neyland, but in Knoxville, Georgia at Tennessee, Florida at LSU, and yes, Florida's going to cover.
Yeah.
Florida's going to cover tomorrow.
I'm with that.
Tomorrow night in Death Valley.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. So Diego Pavia, Lenore Sellers, Vanderbilt at South Carolina. South Carolina's going to win that game, but Diego Pavia is going to give them all they want. And then I don't know with A&M and Notre Dame. Although if A&M can rush 4, which they're capable of doing with the guys that they have. Now Notre Dame supposedly has the best I don't know if that's going to be the case, but everybody talked about Notre Dame's offensive line being, if not number 1, top 3 in the country. But if A&M can put pressure on CJ Carr with just 4 guys, watch out. But then I don't know how much I trust Marcel Reed at QB1 with A&M. I know he's got some skills, but I'm not sure. It's kind of like tomorrow night in Oxford. I don't know how much I trust Austin Simmons and Taylon Green, because while they're talented, who is and who's not going to throw the ball to the other team. All right, so then when I look at Marcel Reed and C.J. Carr going against each other, A&M and Notre Dame, one, whose front 4 is going to dominate, or how many people do you have to bring? 2, if A&M can bring pressure with just 4 people, that could be a problem. And then when you think about Georgia and Tennessee, if Georgia can't create any explosive plays yet with Gunnar Stockton, I don't think that's going to work. Because even though it may be a lot more difficult for Tennessee, Heupel, and Joey Aguilar, their QB1 now, because of who they played to date, dude, all it takes is 1 or 2 in a game like that, and you can win. Yep. So that's kind of my thoughts on, the games played at Florida. They've got to, no doubt. I agree. They have to find a way to create explosive plays. LSU, on the other hand, with Nussmeier and those 2 receivers, they can. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, he's lob it up.
But Florida's going to play better. Florida's going to cover, and Arkansas is going to cover. And then Tennessee's going to win outright. So there you go.
All right.
A&M, Notre Dame, I don't know.
Tennessee wins outright.
Yeah. What do you think? Okay. So all right, we'll take that bet, you and I.
Like it.
So you're taking Georgia.
Yeah.
Hold on. How many points?
I'll take the points.
All right. So you're taking the Georgia Bulldogs, and you're giving me 3.5 points. Thank you.
All day.
Hey, another great place to watch the games is the station in Fondren, right, Jay Meadows?
That's right.
All right, they've got they've got amazing pizza, craft beer like Key City, and they got the green space in the back. And I don't know how big the screen is, but it goes from one end to the other on the stage. The station in Fondren is a phenomenal place to watch college football. The show is also brought to you by Juniker Jewelry Store. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.